Do it. First news story. Oh, I didn't mean to take a screenshot of this one. Here we go. Are you ready for this? Let's talk about this one first before we get to the big story, because this is a good story to talk about. So, how many people out there knew that last year EA, Electronic Arts, released a game that had a budget of $125 million that was a AAA single-player shooter with RPG elements? Did you know that this game was released last year and existed? Did you also know that the game monstrously flopped and that no one bought it? And did you know that now, because of that, okay, for some reason, okay, EA is using this as a scapegoat or straw man, and what they're saying is, this is our evidence that these single player games just don't work anymore, and therefore we're pushing this in a different direction, and we're going to focus more on games with microtransactions and live service, because this is our evidence that single player is not the future anymore. Now you might be saying, wait, what? Like, what are you even talking about? Right? Like, what that didn't happen. You made that up, right? No, it actually happened. The name of the game, for those who don't know, was called Immortals of Aveum. Okay? I remember seeing like a clip of this game. It was on the Summer Game Fest, and I don't remember if it was actually last year or the year before. And I remember what the game looked like was basically first person, like Hexen upgraded. Did you ever see Hexen? Probably not. Most of you are probably not of my age range. So in the 1990s, a lot of first person shooters came out. You had your Wolfenstein 3D, which started the craze, killing Nazis and stuff like that. But then you had Duke Nukem 3D, Doom, and all of that. And then you started having spin-offs. And one of the spin-offs was called Hexen. And the selling point of Hexen was that you weren't using guns. You were using magic. So you use like a magic wand. You'd be shooting like electricity or fireballs or ice, poison, you know, cool things like that. You could summon, I think you could summon monsters too that would help you. I can't remember exactly because I haven't played it in 100 years. But I remember playing it and loving this game. Because, like, essentially, if you like fantasy, if you like Dungeons and Dragons, if you like Lord of the Rings, if you like that kind of stuff, you're going to love Hexen. Because it really was the first-person game with mass combat that wasn't just unloading ammo into everything around you. Okay? So I loved it. And when I saw the footage of Immortals of Aveum, I said, this game almost looks like the spiritual successor to Hexen. Except now you've got more RPG elements, you've got modernized gameplay mechanics and graphics, so it kind of made sense. It looked interesting. My problem was when we were watching all this trailer footage of it, you know, preview footage of it, it was called Immortals of Aveum. Alright? Right off the bat. Does that name appeal to you in any way? Immortals of Aveum. Immortals. So it was like gods or people with superpowers. Kind of reminds me of that Marvel movie Eternals. And we all know how good Eternals did, right? It was one of the worst performing Marvel movies of all time. So, when you hear that name, does it catch you? Does it interest you in the game in any way, shape, or form? No. It's like a real generic name that doesn't really ring any interest in the game, correct? So what is Immortals of Aveum about? Do you even have any idea? When you see Wolfenstein 3D, you're like, okay, it's a war against the Nazis. When you see Doom, oh, it's a war against invading, you know, hell demons, right? When you look at Immortals of Aveum, you don't know what the fuck this game is. You're like, what is this? Gods? Otherworldly creature? Is it fantasy? Is it actually magic in medieval times? No, because it looks like Space Age, but is it Space Age then? It's just this weird mishmash. And I hate to say it, we've kind of seen it before. There's been other games that have been like this that have also flopped. You know, this kind of style. What was the one, the big budget game that came out around the early days of like Xbox 360 and PS3? And it was supposed to be this giant epic, and it flopped miserably, so they never made any more. They were supposed to make like a sequels, and they never made it. I can't remember what it was called. I've told you guys about it because I bought it and I played through it and I found it very grindy. but I beat it once and I actually played it again. I can't remember what the hell the name of the game was. It's ancient at this point, so you guys probably wouldn't even remember it. But it reminded me of that because that game had like magic, but it was also futuristic. So it didn't make sense. It was weird hybrid games. Like, well, you don't even know what they're going for. Is it old? Is it new? You don't even know, right? And that's really what Immortals of Aveum looks like to me. A game that doesn't really have a unique identity. And because of that, you have a bad name, right? And you don't have a unique identity. So the only way that... yes, it was Too Human. Hobo X got it. Too Human. When I see Immortals of Aveum, it reminds me of Too Human. Go look at that game, Too Human. It looks very similar in style. Now, gameplay elements, no, but the style, like the art design, looks very similar to me. And I was like, it didn't work back then, so why would you try this again in 2023, you know? So anyway, so what's going to be the hook of this game then? Well, hopefully they market it well, right? Hopefully this game is marketed very well so people will know exactly what it is so it doesn't have an identity crisis and people will check it out, especially if they're saying they invested $125 million, AAA studio assets and everything to it. So what do they proceed to do? They literally don't market it. Like, I didn't even hear about it until you guys told me it was coming out. I didn't even know when it was coming out. And they released it literally between Baldur's Gate 3 and Starfield. So Baldur's Gate 3 comes out. All the hype's about Baldur's Gate 3. And now, what's the next thing? Well, we got to see if Starfield can live up to the hype because Baldur's Gate 3 has far exceeded expectations. Can Starfield live up to the hype? Literally, the discussion of those two games erased this game from existence. Like, no one even knew it happened. And by the way, they charged $70 for it. For a new IP that no one knew about, wasn't advertised, sounded boring in name. What did you think would happen? Did you think people would just, on a whim, buy your $70 game just because you created it? That's not how it works. See, I think EA is really in this old school mindset. EA is thinking of the old days when there wasn't a lot of competition, right? So because of that, the EA would release a giant game and everyone would flock to it and buy it just because it was EA. Everyone would say, oh, Electronic Arts, we know them. They're the ones who make all these big high-profile games. So every time one comes out, we know to trust them, right? So we know to buy it. And that's just not the case anymore. Now we have so many AAA studios pumping out games at the same time. There's too many to all play at the same time. You've also got smaller studios. Like, let's be honest, Larian. Was anyone looking at them as like big AAA style? No, no one thought that. Now, with Baldur's Gate 3, everyone's looking at them like, holy shit, what an amazing job they did with this game that came out of nowhere. We never thought Baldur's Gate 3 would be that good. And, it ended up being Game of the Year, right? So what's happening now, not only do you have this oversaturation of the market, too many games at once, you've also got too many AAA style games all competing for the same market space. And now you've got other studios that are coming out of the woodwork actually making comparable experiences to the AAA ones, but it's not the same bloat that you're expecting. I mean, Baldur's Gate 3 has made everyone look ashamed, right? Game devs literally came out after Baldur's Gate 3 released and said, don't think every game we make is going to be like that. That's unfair. Well, no, that should be fair. That's your competition. That's the new golden standard. And if you can't live up to it, then don't make games. Because what's going to happen now is, what do they say? The cream rises to the top. So the good games now are the ones that are going to get featured, and games that are just shovelware or mid experiences are never going to get played anymore. Now, that wasn't the case back in the day, because back in the day, there wasn't as much competition. But EA still thinks it's 2010. EA literally thinks we're in a situation where any game they put out will immediately sell, and they don't have to put effort into it. They don't have to market it. It'll just be good. That's not reality anymore. You have to work hard now to get your game noticed and to do something that will go viral on social media and get memed and people will want to buy and play. You have to work for it. And the other funny part is, you never know when a game that you had no clue was coming will come out and all of a sudden take over the gaming landscape. Take a look at Palworld. Did anyone see that one coming? Did you really think Palworld was going to sell that many millions of copies and be the only talk of gaming for about 2 weeks? Of course not. But that's what happens now in modern gaming. We're in a different landscape, a different climate, and a different world. This is not 2010, but EA thinks it's 2010. So they put all this money into this game. They don't advertise. They put it out at the worst possible time between two ginormous competing AAA releases. It's a new IP. They don't give you any reason to buy it. They don't even explain what the fuck it is. I watched the gameplay trailer presentations. I didn't know what the game was. I was confused, right? And now the game comes out. No one buys it. It flops horribly. Oh, well, this is our justification that single-player games are failing. No, idiots. It's a justification that your management is terrible and your company is now an archaic dinosaur in the realm of game development. That's what this is evidence of. There's nothing wrong with a game like Immortals of Aveum if timed right, marketed right, and actually released at a window where people will check it out. But you're idiots, and you run your company horribly, and you're running it into the ground by only relying on microtransactions on sports games. You know, this is just sad because you take a look at companies like Valve. Valve was an outstanding game developer making cream of the crop, top of the line AAA games, right? I mean, shit, the Half-Life series, the Portal series, Team Fortress 2, among others that they were pumping out hit after hit after hit. Then they released Steam. Yeah, we don't want to make games anymore. We're just going to make money on Steam, right? Rockstar Games, making a wide variety of amazing games. The Grand Theft Auto series, the Bully series, the Red Dead series, Midnight Club, and other things that diversified. They released GTA 5 Online. Oh, well, we don't have to do anything else anymore. Cancel all DLCs, cancel all other games. Well, we'll release Red Dead 2 because we were already far enough into development. Everything else just delay and just keep making GTA 5 content. So what's happening is these companies are falling in line to what's easy rather than what's creative, artistic, or actually good for gaming. They don't care anymore. They just want easy mode profits. And when EA does something like this, right, you could tell that the truth is all they want to do is be Rockstar. They want to find that golden formula where they have to do absolute minimum work and maximize profits. Because if you're going to use Immortals of Aveum as a scapegoat instead of as a shining example of why your management of your company sucks, all you're doing is refusing to look in the mirror, and instead you just want the easy money. So just fucking go into pachinko, right? Do what Konami did. Turn all your IPs Madden pachinko, right? Madden slots. Do it, fucking do it, do it. Every franchise, just fucking sell it out and go do gambling and you know, just do that. Because I'm tired of this fucking bullshit. And you know what? You know what? That'll actually be better overall for gaming. You want to know why? Because the market will stop being so saturated with crap games with microtransactions attached to them. The less crap games we can have to free up the market share to other games that actually tried, that's what we need. So get the crap out of there. Let EA go make their money elsewhere in a market share where actual gamers don't give two fucks about them. Leave us alone and let us enjoy gaming. I'd much rather have game devs be employed by a company that cares about the product they're putting out than the amount of money that the product generates. So that's just sad, because I guarantee you that Immortals of Aveum probably isn't that bad, but no one will ever play it because EA just didn't give two fucks. They thought, oh, it's just a guaranteed that, you know, it's just gonna sell. No, it's called effort. You don't put it in anymore. So that's why your game tanked, because you're idiots. Not because the game devs did a bad job. The game looked decent in the game previews and things that I saw, but it had no identity, no marketing, and you released it at the wrong time of the year, and then you blame the game. No, it's you. You're the problem. How can you be in charge of a company, have things constantly failing under your watch, and then blame others? You're the one in charge. You're literally the one who made all that happen. How do you blame others? What? What is going on with these fucking people?